Hello everyone. Before I get started, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Meredith Tillery. I am a 30-year-old single mom of a 7-year-old little boy. I work for a small business in Garland, Texas. I do their marketing and their events and their business development, and I really like the company that I work for. Um, Before I start on what this program has done for my leadership skills, I would just like to start and talk a little bit about what this program has done for my personal life. Um, I am the only child of two parents who have graduate degrees that did not graduate college. I have two sisters and one brother, and I am also the only child that got pregnant at 23 years old and whose father left them shortly after the birth of the child. Um, so I had a lot stacked against me. Um, I had gone back to college, back and forth, um, while my son was growing up, but for one reason or another, I had to stop going to classes. He got really sick. I got really sick. I could never finish. So, in about March of 2017, I decided that I was going to go back to school and I was going to go back to finish. So I started looking into degree plans and looking into how can I finish the fastest, what would be the best fit for me, what would be the most cost effective program for me. And as I was looking, I saw that Texas A&M offered the Bachelor's of Arts and Sciences in Organizational Leadership, and that it was a fully online organizational leadership course, and that it was a flat rate $750 tuition fee. And that's kind of my sign that that's what I needed to do. And all my credits transferred. So, I mean, it ended up being a better fit than I could have ever even imagined. I started taking classes in July of 2017, and here we are in March of 2018, and I'm hoping that I will be finished after this term. The amount of drive and ambition to be the best that I could be skyrocketed for me while I was in this program. When my son would be so upset because of a day or a night that mommy had to just devote to schoolwork, I would tell him, not too much longer, baby, don't worry. Mommy just has to finish school, then she can get a job making better money, and then you and I can get our own place. And I don't know what it was about that saying, but it calmed us both down and put things into perspective for both of us. And then when my son now, when I get a little frustrated, my son reminds me, not too much longer, mommy. All you have to do is finish, and then you can get a better paying job, and then we can get our own place. So it's kind of been really good for both me and my son. So I would not only like to personally thank A&M Commerce and all my professors for providing and teaching this program to people like me, but to also thank all of y'all on the behalf of my son for allowing me to give him hope for an easier and better life one day. Now, as a leader, before starting this program, I wasn't entirely confident that I was cut out to be a leader. I was class president in high school, but that was a long time ago. And I couldn't imagine managing a lemonade stand, much less leading a company. So it was actually my boss who told me one day, as I was trying to rifle through degree programs to choose from, and he said, "You know, you'd be really good at what I do." And a switch flipped, and I thought, you know what? I would be really good at what you do. I knew I had charisma. I knew I was an amazing communicator. I knew I was empathetic. I knew I was good at taking initiative. And I knew those were all strengths of leaders, good leaders. But what I was also very aware of was my weaknesses in time management, my weakness in conflict resolution, and my weakness of negotiation skills for leadership. And that's where I knew that I would get what I needed from each course in this degree plan. They would strengthen my strengths and make my weaknesses strengths. So, for example, in the first course, the Issues in Organizational Leadership course, I learned what, for me, were the basics or the foundation of what I needed. I learned what an organization was by definition, as well as the differences between healthy and unhealthy organizations. I learned that the purpose that drives the organization determines their type of organization, such as mission-driven organizations and performance-driven organizations. I learned the definition of leadership and the differences between a leader and a manager, such as leaders are active while managers are reactive. I also learned about different theories of leadership in this course, such as democratic/participative leadership styles, those are both my favorite and my choice of leadership styles. In the 2-term data-driven decision-making course, I learned much, much more than I already knew, because what I already knew was nearly nothing. I knew there was data out there and that it could be used to help organizations, but I had no idea where to even start. With this course, I learned how to accurately, efficiently, and effectively extrapolate data to collect and analyze that data and then make business decisions based on the results. I even impressed my boss by analyzing marketing data to start a new marketing campaign after I had completed the course, which was very impressive. Another 2-term course that I really enjoyed and gained a lot from was the Behavior Ethics and Leadership course. Not only did I learn different ethical theories, but I learned what organizational citizenship was and why it was so important when it comes to the culture of an organization. I learned about issues that come to play in ethical negotiations, which really helped me with my weakness in negotiating. And I learned about positional forms of power as well as organizational politics. Most importantly, I learned much more about transformational leadership, which is that is the type of leader that I feel that I am now after finishing this degree plan. I was actually very fortunate that a business opportunity did come around at my current employer, where I got to teach continuing education ethics courses to individuals in the insurance profession. And so while I was learning the ethics of organizational leadership, I was also teaching a course over ethics. And that was actually, I feel that both helped, but definitely the course in ethics that I took through Texas A&M Commerce helped me be able to successfully teach these other adults in the insurance profession about ethics. The 2-term leadership theory class helped me really tie everything from issues in organizational leadership and behavior, ethics, and leadership in with everything else that I had learned about organizational leadership altogether. One thing that stuck was Theory Y leadership practices, in which positive leadership can bring forth greater efforts and levels of achievement for employees, promoted by Douglas McGregor. I think it's stuck in my brain because I truly believe that positive leadership can transform members of an organization and can transform an organization itself. Overall, this course taught me to analyze organizational processes and address the challenges and issues that come along with leading an organization. Most importantly, it taught me functional processes such as planning, the planning process, and controlling workplace situations. In the first part of the course, for our project, we learned to do a SWOT and pestle analysis of an organization. And then in the second part of the course, we learned to do a process improvement plan based on the SWOT and the pestle analysis. Those projects really made the light bulb go off in my head and made me understand the course after working really hard on the project. The Leading Change course was definitely a learning experience. It taught me how to do an in-depth analysis of issues regarding organizational change and how to write a change management plan for an organization with each component added in. The project was the perfect end to the course because it gave me the real-life hands-on experience of doing a change management plan based on my current place of employment. So I did this project and did this plan, this process, this change management plan on the business that I currently work at, which I was able to give to my boss and get feedback on. The 2-part capstone course really solidified everything that I learned from this program. The leadership interview and report project really helped me in deciding if I wanted to go into the nonprofit sector or join a performance-driven organization. Because after realizing that the person that I interviewed who ran the nonprofit organization was the chief operating officer of one, controlled the Midwest territory of another larger nonprofit organization, and then also had a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. job as well. While the owner and operator of the performance-driven small business works from 8 to 5 with much more time for his family. So that right there was kind of my selling point. I was on the fence. I wasn't sure. I really wanted to do some nonprofit work, but after that, I kind of realized that I want to work in the performance-driven organizations that will allow me to have more time with my family. The interview also showed me the similarities and the differences between leaders of mission-driven organizations and performance-driven organizations. So that was another thing that I got from the leadership interviews and the following report. The strategic case analysis was difficult for me. I did it based on the business that I work at right now. And all of my information that I was able to get access to was word of mouth from the owner of the company. Documents that have been, paper documents. There's not even, they're not even stored in the computer, and stuff like that. But it really did help me learn how to pull everything together in order to analyze and evaluate and recommend an implementation plan for the business that I work for, addressing the leadership issue that we currently are experiencing, because we had a change in leadership less than a year ago. Overall, after completing this program, I feel like I am a confident, communicative, participative, charismatic, empathetic, well-organized, and transformative leader. I've improved on my traits that I saw as weaknesses within my leadership abilities, such as negotiation skills, time management skills, and conflict resolution skills, and am now exactly the kind of leader that I want to become, or that I want to be, to become successful. From here, I will be looking for a higher paying position at a company that provides an opportunity for growth where my leadership skills can shine. Until I get there, though, I think it's very important that I continue to practice my leadership skills at my current place of employment to keep them sharp. And of course, I want to make sure that I keep my data-driven decision-making books in rotation, in my rotation of books to read frequently, because I feel like there's so much to learn about data-driven decision-making in organizational leadership that you can't just put that down and stop learning about it. You can always keep learning new ways. Data is always changing.